Hi, Sydney. Thank you so much for helping me today. I really appreciate you volunteering to help me with my coaching assignment. So, before we get started, I want to let you know that this session is being recorded for my graduate coaching class. Is that still okay with you if I record today?
Yes, that is okay.
Okay, cool. And then you reviewed the consent form, and do you have any questions about that?
Yes, I reviewed it, and no, I do not have any questions.
Okay. And just to just a reminder, this is all voluntary. If you feel like you need to stop or want to stop at any time, or if you want to skip any questions, that's totally fine. You just let me know. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. And then everything we discuss will remain confidential. Okay.
Okay,
And do you have any questions before we begin?
not right now.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, all right. So today we're going to spend about 25 to 30 minutes talking about your career goals and your work-life balance. So during our conversation, we'll also complete the DISC assessment, which looks at communication and behavioral preferences. Just keep in mind there aren't any right or wrong answers. So this is just a tool that could provide insight as we discuss your goals. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, how have you been? Did you guys have a good 4th of July?
Yes, we had a good 4th of July. We spent it with family, but definitely catching up now from the long weekend.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Well, I'm glad you were able to spend some time with family. That's always fun. And I know you've got a little one, a little pup in the house now, so I'm sure it was fun for her too.
Yes, yes. She got to play with other dogs for the first time, so it definitely
Uh,
fun for her too.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So what would you like to get out of today's conversation?
Yeah, really just taking the test and being able to learn more about myself, and just being able to speak through some of the goals that I do have, but also just looking for a little bit of guidance to make sure that I'm on the right path.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And that is what I'm here for. Um, what made you you know, choose this topic? I know you told me that, you wanted to kind of look at work specifically and how you can maybe get a little bit more personal time. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
Really it's just more so, and I'm feel like I'm not the only person that says this, but just in today's day and age, I feel like there's always so much to do, but never enough time in the day. So really, I want to figure out a better plan of how I can adjust my work-life balance. Right now, I feel like I bring my work home with me often. And being in sales, I absolutely don't have a normal 9 to 5. So sometimes I will do extra work at night just to get ahead. So just I want to figure out how to better balance my life.
Okay, yeah, good, good. Um, Now tell me a little bit about, I know you said you're in sales and sometimes you obviously don't have a strict schedule like if they need you or if you have a work event. I think you even told me you have a work event tomorrow night. So um tell me a little bit more about what how that looks.
Yeah, so my schedule is fairly flexible in the sense that I obviously have internal meetings, and that's to better myself. They check in on seeing if we're hitting our KPIs, things along those lines. But really, first and foremost, my schedule is always at the mercy of the customer, so to speak. So if it's a customer's having an issue or we're running through the process of them hopefully buying my product, those meetings always are going to become first priority. And then after that, it's internal. And then, of course, I have to manage my time very well to ensure that I'm keeping myself, like I would say my own self projects and my KPIs are probably the lowest on the list. And obviously those are tracked and measured. So still important, but definitely lowest on the totem pole.
Okay, okay. All right. And what parts of your work would you say give you energy?
Um, well, it's kind of funny because I feel like in sales, we always have the saying that the highs are high and the lows are low. So definitely when like you're having great conversations with a customer or a prospective client, and when they decide to make the move forward, it definitely is exciting just because of what I am selling. Yes, it is an HCM, so a human capital management platform. But on top of that, it really does change the lives of a lot of the administrative people working within these companies. So just being able to help bring them into the technology that we have access to today, and truly it does make their lives a lot easier.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, so what I'm hearing you say is really once, if they're moving forward with you, that can really be an exciting time. And I mean, which makes sense because obviously sales are good for you as well. But not only that, but because of how it benefits their admin or administrative team. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And are there parts of your job that kind of leave you drained or frustrated?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the type of job that I have, so a lot of different sales roles will vary how they work. So, mine specifically, I do not work with anyone. I don't work with inbound leads. So, what that means is I have to cold prospect. So, I show up at places and I make phone calls and I send cold emails. So, that definitely can be it can take an impact on you emotionally, especially because usually, and I'm sure we've all gotten the calls or someone's calling you to sell you something, and you're like, okay, yeah, please don't call me again. But usually that might not be the words people use.
Mhm.
So just depending upon how those conversations can go, that definitely can affect how the rest of your day goes.
So you really kind of have to have some thick skin to for some of those calls, huh? Yeah.
Absolutely, sometimes.
Yeah. I that would be tough, I bet. So ideally, what would, your work-life balance look like?
Yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, I would love to be able to get home from the office or out with clients and like leave everything at 5 o'clock. But there are definitely nights where I'm working until 8, 9 o'clock prepping for the next day to ensure that I have my presentations ready. I'm also prospecting potential new clients. So I just absolutely don't feel like there's enough time in the day.
Right. Yeah. Need longer weeks, right?
Yes.
Oh. And if there was one thing you could change over the next 6 months, well, what would you want that to be?
Specific to my career.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Definitely the work-life balance piece, but then also on top of that, just having a strategy in place. And I've been playing around with a lot of different like tools, and obviously that's why we're having this conversation, just being able to maximize my time and make sure I'm utilizing outside tools to the best of my ability to make things easier for myself.
Okay, yeah, good. So you really want to, or what I'm hearing you say is you really want to, maximize your time, use tools to help you get the most out of your time so that, you know, maybe you'll have a little bit more time for yourself or for personal life as well.
Yep, I'd say 100%.
Okay, all right. Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you sharing with all that with me. It gives me a good perspective on how the disc assessment will be able to help you. Um, so again, more or less what I've heard is, being in sales, you really have you know you're you don't have a strict 9 to 5 schedule, and you could be working late one night or a few nights a week, whether that's meeting a prospect or prepping for meetings and what's going on. So having more of a balance, being able to use certain tools, and maybe figuring out how this disc assessment could even help, you know, maybe in some cases you're able to get somebody else involved at work too. And I don't know if is that something that, like, are you able to delegate any of your work to others, or is this kind of your accounts, how does that look?
Usually it's a no. It just depends what it is. But on the typical day-to-day, my responsibilities are owned by myself.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me just make that note. Okay, thank you. Um, okay. Well, why don't I sent you a link to, um, I sent you a link to the DISC assessment. Do you see it?
Yes, I have it here.
Okay, awesome. So why don't you go through and um, take the assessment. So take these few minutes, answer the questions just the best that you can. Um, and honestly, like answering them how you're feeling, how you're doing right now. Try not to think of what you want, but how it affects you and how just in today. Like, yeah.
Okay.
How you doing over there, Sydney?
Good. I'm on 10 of 12, so almost done.
Okay, all right, awesome. Yeah, take your time.
Thank you. All right, last question. Okay, so I finished, and then it says, Sydney, your at work desk style is D/high S. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so what is it? Read what it says, your overall result.
Uh, Are you thinking about this part here where it says you have a blend of dominant, inspiring, and supportive traits?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your dominant traits are probably a little stronger than your inspiring or supportive traits. Some words that describe you are decisive, results oriented, friendly, and helpful.
Okay. All right. And just looking at that, what, I mean, what stands out to you? Do you feel like that sounds like you or
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty funny. I think that's very much like me.
really? Tell me a little bit more. I mean, why, why does it seem so much like you or what's sticking out to you?
Yeah, so I was just skimming through like some of the words that it says at the bottom. It says I have both people-oriented and task-oriented traits, which is very true. I tend to thrive in environments where I'm working with people, but then I also have tasks. Um, for example, since college, I've worked in different types of job settings, but every single one has involved people and then with an end goal. So definitely, I feel like it is on the nose.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. Is there anything in there that surprised you?
Um, I don't know necessarily. Because definitely at work, like I am someone that is constantly creating methods. I have a team, so yes, we all do our own work, but we all are responsible. Yeah, we're all responsible for our own task, but as a team, we have a main goal where we put all of our like quotas together, so to speak. Um, and I definitely do a lot of extra work that I don't need to for my team. So I think honestly it hit it on the head,
Mm,
on the nose.
okay. Um, so how do you think those traits um or tell me a little bit more on how those traits really show up in your work? You said it be dominant being your first and then was it in,
Inspiring and supportive.
okay.
Um, I would for sure say, like in my day to day, like dominant, I would say I tend to thrive in a process when I can be either the leader or I can set out an initial plan. So definitely, I do like to have control of the process, and we do sometimes work with partners that work in the sense that they sell a different product, but we'll work together. So when they're taking the lead, sometimes I do struggle with that piece. Um, Inspiring. I guess I don't know how I would relay that to my day to day, just because typically I feel like in the environment that I work in, if someone's doing well at their job, everyone just wants to know what they're doing anyways, because they want to copy paste, so to speak. Um, and then supportive, yeah, like I said, I help my team consistently creating new like materials we can drop off to prospects and clients. We actually just created almost like a think of like a suggestion box, but it's online. So when people have questions or would like to learn more about something, we now have an outlet where they can submit those questions or thoughts. So just trying to make things easier for everybody.
Okay. All right. Cool. And how might, these strengths help you move towards your goals?
I definitely think dominant is helpful just because I am someone that like I like to have a plan in place. I usually don't just jump in feet first. So I think and exactly why we're speaking today, having a plan to move forward to be able to free up that time. I think that's going to be the main pillar that is going to help me achieve that goal.
Okay. All right. Yeah, good. Um, and do you think understanding your communication shot, style could help? like change the like your approach or work relationships, like knowing what just read and stuff. Does that,
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's also good, even just like for my clarity to see, like, for example, supportive being one of them. Yes, I think it's good to help people, but then sometimes I do think that that then results more on my plate because instead of doing my work, I'm off helping other people do their work, and then it gets me backed up. So then I still have to do my work. So just like being able to, yes, it's a strength, but sometimes I feel like it could also be a weakness. So just being aware of that and making sure that I am using my time wisely and sometimes saying no.
right? Yes. Or even like do you think there's a way to set aside time or even, when you're helping others, can you do it like or would that look like maybe a group effort so that you still have that time for yourself too, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Because the way that I kind of have it now is whenever anyone on my team has a question, they kind of just will call. But I think it's a great idea setting a specific time, almost like office hours, uh, being able to schedule it. And then, because every time you're doing a task and someone pulls you away, then you have to think, okay, where did I leave off? What do I have to restart? So it just breaks your momentum.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I like that idea. If you like you said, that maybe having some office hours or even you know, whether it do you guys have weekly meetings or anything like that?
Yep, yep, we do have weekly meetings on Fridays.
Okay. Now, have you thought about like that being an opportunity, or are a lot of the questions that people come to you are kind of in the moment, or is that something they could discuss in your meetings or
Yeah, so it is a mix. Some of it is in the moment, like how to utilize a piece of software that we use for our sales process. Like that's usually in the moment. But larger questions, definitely, typically we do write them down, bring them to the team meetings just for the fact of if someone has the question, another person probably has the question and just hasn't asked. So just making the whole team aware of that topic, usually it's like a 50-50 split of people being, oh, yeah, I knew that, or half of them being like, oh, I didn't know that. And it just brings more value.
okay, all right. Um, and so after, reviewing your results, um, and we you shared that, being dominant, your main one, and, thinking about not only this inspiring, but the supportive part, um, supportive being a strength, but also a weakness, and really that bringing clarity to, you know, keeping in mind that, hey, you need time for yourself, as well of, obviously helping and being supportive of those people, but making sure that you're having that time for yourself. Um, do you think there's an action that you can take this week to start off, kind of helping you move in that direction to help you get a little bit more time for the things that you need to take care of in your day to day?
No, 100%. I think your idea of, I'm just gonna call it the office hours, but having the
Right.
office hours, I think that's a really good idea. And I think I will definitely be introducing it in our team meeting on Friday and then just putting it on the calendar so everyone can clearly see when it is and just try to stay firm of, hey, this is when it is if it's not an emergency question.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. And what kind of support do you need to help be successful with this?
Um,
I mean, I don't know whether if you could get support at your work. Otherwise, next time we meet, um, I mean, we can talk about how it went for you and if you your coworkers were able to stick to those office hours, or I don't
Mhm.
know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think I would love to talk about how it went next time we meet, but then also, um, I'm a firm believer of like trying things out, see if it works. So definitely just obviously you said our conversation is confidential as I would expect and respect that all of your conversations are, but if there's any that are ideas that you can share of what have worked well for other people in similar situations to myself, I'd love to talk about more of those in the future as well.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, let's definitely plan on talking about this next time we meet. See how those office hours worked. If you were able to get a little bit more time back in your day for your tasks, and if not, or we can even just explore that a little bit, and if not, then explore different options as well. Okay, does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. So, all right. Well, do take a little bit more of a dive into that DISC assessment. I know you read it over, and we can even talk about it a little bit more next time we meet. Um, just things that you want to focus on. Um, but before I let you go, is there any questions you have for me?
I do not think so.
Okay, and what do you feel was the most valuable thing that you learned from our conversation today?
Mm, honestly, I would say probably just being able to like just talk through everything because I feel like sometimes I get wrapped up within my own head that it's important to have like an someone on the outside that doesn't have the same I'm trying not to speak in analogies, but I feel like I do it a lot. That doesn't have the exact same skin in the game as me. So like you're an objective outsider. So I think that was really valuable to have your opinion to just help me better understand what I'm going through and maybe what steps I can take to start shifting towards a better work-life balance.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that and being honest. And I appreciate you helping me with this. Yeah, so next time we talk, you know, um, we'll go back over the office hours and see how it worked. And if not, we can explore other assets as well or assessments. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks for meeting with me today, Sydney. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. All right. Bye.